All right, I'm here with Assimilate-Hugging Face, and I'm going to get right into it, share my screen. So the main things that I wanted to cover today was to dive a little bit more into some of the ecosystem of Hugging Face. There's more things that I haven't played with that I need to. And if I go into Hugging Face, and two things in particular I'd like to actually dive into more. One of them is um, the, basically getting an environment set up, getting code written. And so a few things, I guess, that are probably important to do would be to copy code from other environments and kind of get everything hooked up. And so what I will do to get started here is to maybe just manage this particular instance, and let's take a look at it. 16 core. Okay, good. So I got a nice big machine here, and I'm going to go ahead and launch it and get started. And a few things, I guess, that'll set up here really quick that are going to be helpful is my Python environment, and so it'll be reproducible. So I think that's probably one of the things that I'm going to care about. So if I go to another repo that I've got, I can copy some of the ideas in there. And in fact, these two files I think are the ones I'm gonna care about. So what I will do is first change things around real quick, and then I'm going to go to my setup dev container. So we'll go through here, dev container, add dev container config files. Now we can just go through here and just look for Python real quick, get that set up. Python, here we go. Python 3, 3.10, no. And we can do all that stuff later if I need to. Okay, so that looks pretty good. And now I can actually look at another repo I have. I don't think I have anything in here that I care about, but what I do probably care about is making like a quick little setup here so that I can actually get access to other aspects of virtual environments. So basically a virtual environment will automatically launch, and so I'll just make a quick little make file, requirements file, and inside of here, again, copy things from another repo and just put them inside. So we'll grab this, something like that, paste it in. Let's see, this. Probably from now, I can just call this hlib, call this hlib. This was where I'll put Hugging Face library code. We'll do this as well. Hlib. And perfect. There we go. hlib. Perfect. Got all that running. Got that running. Looks pretty good. And then for the requirements, I'm going to also look at another project real quick, steal some ideas from it. Probably that's not exactly what I want, but I will say I'll probably want to install the data sets from Hugging Face, which are, I believe, let's go Hugging Face datasets. Let's look at that. Hugging Face datasets. Let's do that. Here we go. And so this is what I care about. I want to do pip install datasets. So I'm going to grab this one. And I'm going to do transformers I care about. And I probably care about as well PyLint, PyTest, Black, and Click, Streamlit, and Radio. Those are probably the ones I care about that I'm going to play around with to get started with. And so this looks pretty good. So what I can do is I can basically just run the command that I would have ran earlier, so I don't have to rebuild the whole environment. So I'll just do this command. We'll create a virtual environment for me and run everything, source it. And so next time I run this, it'll be super fast. And then while this is installing, I also can go to this environment and tell it to preload next time so that it'll be super fast. And we can say every push, create. So that's nice. So it'll preload next time. It's getting stuff set up here so that now I can just get right into building code. And I think in particular, what I want to build today is library code and potentially some Gradio stuff too. So I'm going to go to the extensions and I want to install Copilot nightly. So I grab this Copilot nightly. Perfect. Got that. I also want to install Copilot experimental features as well. Perfect. And I think that's good. I think that's a good start here for me. And that's pretty much all I need to do. And now if I just source my bash RC, yep, we got everything working. But now I can start cranking code out. So I think the first thing I want to do is I want to make a directory called hlib. We'll call this hlib. I'm going to create a an under.py here for it. So basically create some code inside of here that allows me to interface with datasets. And this will be right here. And in particular, I'm going to say hlib. I'm going to call this loader. I just call it loader. Call it loader.py. And if I look inside of this, I can now copy some of the Hugging Face documentation and take a look at it. So like I think this was kind of a cool concept here. So I'm going to grab some of this code and I'm going to just throw this in here. So I'm going to take a look at this. So it says from datasets import list datasets. So this will actually grab code from Hugging Face. Now I probably to start with just care about this. And in fact, maybe what I could do to start with is build a search tool for this. And so I don't even need to do anything actually. Now that I think about this, let's see what I can do. So I can say, build. Let's see actually, is there a search when I go to list data sets here? Yeah, let's do that. Let's build a search tool. So let's build a dataset search tool for query. So we're going to say def query for dataset and dataset query and dataset. Okay, that's kind of cool. So it does like a list comprehension, and we can put some documentation around it. Searches for dataset by name or description. And let's try that. Let's start with this first. The way I would prototype this to begin with would be, I need to install IPython. So I need to put requirements, go to IPython. Go to IPython, install. There you go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just try this out, right? Make sure that I got like my search tool running. Okay, it's finishing the installations. All right. Perfect. Okay. Next up is IPython. That cooking. And we can say from hlib dot loader imports my code, which is search. There we go. And then we can just search for patterns. Like we can just say search for summarize or like let's say reviews. I'm just curious what it will come up with. There we go. So pretty slick, right? I built a nice little auto completer tool. I mean, I could even do other things with this, like do limits, like only return back a certain amount. I mean, sure, why not? Let's get fancy. So let's call like there we go. It's reading my mind. And so we would want to say get all data sets, and we would say all data sets that match the query. So let's first do this like that. And then we can say return data sets if the limit is none. Otherwise, yeah, there we go. Looks pretty good. Search for data set by name or description. And we can start with a limit 10. There we go. So let's try it again. So this is pretty damn helpful, actually. I could see how people might want to actually use this. Let's try this out. So lib, let's do reviews. Look at that. We got 10 reviews by default. There we go. Limit 10. Now, I don't know if we could also like do some kind of a sorts, which we could as well. We could also say sorts. Say 10 sorts equals true. And we could basically say limit or like limited query, limited results, and then we could say turn sorted sort. Otherwise, yeah, there we go. Got some loving these these kind of cool concise statements here. So let's see if we alphabetically sort it, it'll come back a little bit cleaner. Now, if the query's there, now we don't want to sort yet, though. We want to sort first because we don't want to limit. We don't want the sort to happen until after we've returned everything. And so what we would say would be sorted data sets if sort else data sets. Right? And then we would need to call this something sorted data sets. Sorted data sets. And then we would say sorted data sets if limit is none, otherwise sorted data sets. There we go. So we're going to sort it, then limit it, and then return back limited results. Perfect. Sort it again. And what do we got? Not bad. Pretty cool. So now we're able to actually query Hugging Face's data sets and kind of get some stuff. So what I would do next now is let's now build a click command line tool that can query this sucker, and this will be really slick. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to say touch HF. Call this data set query. Okay, there we go. So we have a Hugging Face data set query. And next up, we'll chmod it. Chmod plus X Hugging Face data set query. And then I'll go into this file and we'll do this. User bin env Python. And then what we can do is we can say from each lib dot loader import hlib dot loader import search, and then we would say import click. Now we're going to build a pretty big tool, so I think what I want to do is build a group. So we'll say build click group and build that out. And we will do next, say, a Hugging Face dataset query tool. There we go. And now I'm going to build a click command. That's exactly what I want to do. And we'll say, we'll call this we'll call this query. Now for arguments, I don't think we want an argument. What we want is a limit, and we want to sort. And we want a pattern like this. But I think we would want that first. Query. We want to say, oh, I would rather do an option actually. Let me think about it. Do I care about it? Nah, yeah, let's do pattern. Let's do pattern like this. So now we would do query. I think that would work. Query pattern limit sort search for a data set. This looks pretty good. And I think we should basically do for data set and data sets, we should do some fancy stuff like do like I like to make some wild colors in Click. We can just say from random import choices or choice and do colors. I think I could actually say like this. I could do colors is equal to, there you go. And I just say data set and data sets, say prints random color or pick a color that wasn't pick random color that wasn't used last time. Color choices, but that's a little bit trickier of an algorithm. I mean, do I really want to? Do I really care about this? I actually want to pick. Let's build a function that does this. Let's see, like if I said build function that returns, that yields a random color not seen before. About that. There we go. That's that. Now we're talking. And that's a purpose. A set is a great use case for this. And so now I'm glad I asked this thing to be built. It's a unique color generator. While true, that's not exactly what I want to do though, because what I want to say is slightly different. I want to say build a function that returns, that yields a random color, not used consecutively. That's what I care about. Now, what did it give me? There we go. That's a little better. That's exactly what I want. And so it's going to return back a color. So from here, I would say for dataset and dataset, prints color, dataset name, style, color generator. That's exactly what I want. Perfect. And now let's execute this. Perfect. Okay, so this is a fancy little tool here, and I'm going to run this. query missing well, query dash help, right? Okay, so search for data set. We'll search for a Hugging Face data set by name or description. Examples. Look at that. That's pretty slick. So we want to do this though. Slash. Nice little Hugging Face data set query. Ooh, unknown color generator objects. Because there we go. Yeah, I want to do it next. So you got to know Python. You can't not know Python to do fancy stuff with Copilot. I don't know why it's hanging. That's kind of weird. Unless I have some code that doesn't work. Let's say make, do I have a refactor in here? Yeah, make refactor. Let's do that. Say make refactor. What do I got going on? Unused load data set from data sets. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, sure. Let's get rid of that for now. Now, what am I doing here? I'm screwing this up somehow. Well, I can just use IPython again. So let's see what's going on. So if I say imports from href dataset query, import all. I think, how do you do this again? It's kind of a bummer when you use, this is the downside of using the hyphen. So if I say mv href, I can say href and just make them all like, it's like that. Data set query like that. href data set query. That. href data set. Now I do IPython. And I could say from href. There we go. Well, let's just play around with I have a bug in my code that I need to fix. So let's see why this doesn't work. Color generator. If I do next color, why wouldn't that work? Next color. Oh, because this might be bullshit. While color is equal to color, maybe this just doesn't work. Let's see, because while true yield color. Yeah, that's just not, that's a nonsense statement. Like build a function that returns while true. But so it wrote code that didn't work. So let's see here. So if while true, if color, just say so like color is is equal to choice color. We would say yield color. No, we would say if, we'll say last color. Say is basically if color, or we would say color, if color is equal to last color, then new color, then yield, or we could just say the color is equal to that. That's fine. We would say that. Otherwise, last color is now equal to the color, and then we yield color. I think this is what we want to do. Let's try that. Python here. The least important part of the code, but for fun. Color generator. Okay, say next. Oh, because I think what the issue is that, yeah, there's something weird going on, which I don't know why it's hanging. Well, it's a good problem. I'm doing something dumb, obviously, but I'm just gonna say like randomly pick colors. I'm done with this. I'm just gonna go here, and I'm gonna say choices or choice color. Colors. Yeah. Let's run it again. Let's do that. Let's do this. Yeah, there's something weird's going on. I don't know why my code is all screwed up now. But make lints. Oh, undefined color generator. Well, there you go. That's not good. And unused variable color online 26. Let's do one more time. Let's see factor. Okay, now it's for dataset. So that's the search. That looks good. Oh, why is it hanging? That's what's weird. Is this thing is choice colors. Random import choice. Well, let's do this. Let's just keep it simple. from print data set. So let's get out of whatever is going on here. And do I have data set earlier? Is that the problem? I don't think so. Something. I must be editing. Oh, I'm editing the wrong file. That's the thing that kills you when you're editing the wrong file. Oh, awful, 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 awful. So this file was renamed. So that's this is like the classic problem of was this checked into code? Let's see get status. So I'm gonna say rm this. I don't want this anymore. No wonder why I had so many problems getting code to work. I was editing the wrong file and nothing was changing. And this is a classic problem that you want to avoid. So we want to say build a function that returns that yields yields in color not used sequentially. So there we go. Color. But what we want to say is if color, say last color. I actually had some all true if color is equal to last color. Let's see if this is like not the most important part of it, but now I'm now let's get rid of this. Now I'm convinced I need to do it. Otherwise, we would say color, last color, to color. Okay, so as long as I wasn't used before, as long as they're not equal, then that's what the color is. Otherwise, set it to that and then yield it. And now color equals color generator. Let's try that out. So, you mean equals make int, make refactor. And on sequential color. Do that. And local color reference before assignment. Let's lint it. What does it say? Local color. Let's run it one more time. It says if color. Oh, we need to set them both to be none. There you go. That worked. There we go. That's kind of cool. Was it worth it? Probably not. I feel empowered though. There we go. We got a real cool, fancy coloring thing. And then I said squad limit 5 There we go. That's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool little tool. And then if I do get status, we can add the .dev container. We can say get add star. And say get commit adding CLI tool. So I would say the other one would be to interrogate the data now, which means that you can do more fancy stuff with it. And in order to do that, we need to extend this a little bit more, and we need to call inspect data. Right? So we would want to do inspect. Now I don't know what do you do here. So process the data, tokenize the context. So it looks like loading is not very smart. It's just kind of dumps data, which is fine. Dataset.map. Oh, efficient preprocessing, simple, fast, reproducible. Efficiently prepare the data set for inspection. I mean, this looks interesting. I mean, this library here. I don't see anything else that it does though. That's tricky. Woo. Oh, I guess these are the data sets. And I'm not sure what this does. This just data sets. Interesting. Well, I mean, I would say we do have a query system now, which is kind of cool. But what if we want to inspect the data? So let's call that. Let's give it a data set, and we want to buy. We would want to say, I would say probably rows would be by default maybe 5. Yeah, that looks good. And we could just say load the data set, the first 5 rows, but I don't think we want to print the data. We want to return the data. I don't know what pattern the data will be in though. So that does make things more complex. I mean, we could assume, and we could say like column is equal to train, something like that. And we would say, whoa, get the column. Yeah, this looks interesting. I like this concept. And then if we go back to our tool here, what we could do is we could add another interface. And we would also say import search, and we would say inspect data. And we can say build a click command, inspect. There we go. I would say by default, that's good. But we also want the rows. That's good. Inspects. That's good. Yeah. I would say we don't need to do anything fancy for colors with this. Let's just see what happens. So now, if I run this, we can do instead inspect the squad. And we want to actually do just that. And so just show us 5 rows. Whoa. Did you mean list data sets? line 17. Oh, load data sets. There we go. So I could have done a lint to fix that. In theory, I could push this to the Python package repository if I was going to be nice to Hugging Face, because this might turn into a pretty useful tool. Dataset object has no attribute take because I screwed that up. Loader. Get the first 5 rows. Let's look at what they did before. So the result should look like this. So it would be more like this. It would be data sets. We would say data equals column. And will this work? I forget if this will work. I guess I can lint it and see if it works. Let's see, make refactor. Well, let's just run it. Columns is not, did you mean column? Column, I did mean that. Make refactor. Whoa, there you go. Not bad. And so this does appear to have had some success here. Now, would I want to pull more things out? Like, for example, like the payload and, all kinds of other things, like return like a JSON format or something like that. I mean, maybe. But I think for a start, this is not bad. So let's say get status, hit add this, it's adding payload. There we go. Yeah, so this is not bad. I think we have some very, very good start to play around with Hugging Face and get really dirty with the data. And I almost would want to push this to the Python package repository because it could be helpful. Could be helpful for people that are wanting to query Hugging Face. But for now, I think this is good. This is a good start. And what I will do is just double check. I checked everything in. There we go. Yeah, and I think this is a good place to stop for today.